This situation somehow just got crazier as the Suns were obviously the center of a topic of a trade deadline where they were trying to bring a pursuit, bringing in Jimmy Butler, with the failed pursuit of trying to land him and the failed attempt to trying to move Bradley Beal. The team ultimately almost pivoted and moved trading superstar Kevin Durant without him even knowing. And how this would have affected Mike Budenholzer's team and how would have this affected the direction of the Suns? We'll be getting into all of that and what could possibly be coming up next with the Suns, as we have seen some big updates revolving around Kevin Durant and his stature with this Phoenix Sun term in the long term. We'll be diving into all of that and more on this episode of Suns Digest. I am Bruce Velez, and you guys have been absolutely fantastic, showing your love and support on the channel, which has been super, super appreciative. Thank you so much for tuning into the weekly live stream. And like I said, we'll be coming up with those every single Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. So if you did miss it, sorry, but I hope to catch you in the next one. If you do enjoy the content, let me know your thoughts and hit the like button. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into it. Even without the trade deadline being here, we still got to talk about this as it just winded up. And this will be the last, most likely last talk about the trade deadline here on Suns Digest here. But as we see some wild reports coming out from the Phoenix area following this aftermath with the Phoenix Suns. We did see that the Suns were able to make one move, but one move only. Where the Suns were able to trade Yusuf Nurkic, and John Gambardaro let us know that this will be likely the only trade that they will make today. Both Martin and Micic are option guys, so it can help the Suns save next year, focus while improving the roster over the summer. John Voita let us know that it was sad news for Suns fans today, as many fans, including myself, displayed this as we all wanted Nurkic gone, and that was a great move, but we anticipated more. We anticipated another hole to be filled with Nurkic being gone, and that was not gifted to us. Plus, nothing else was gifted to us. No one wanted to play with Phoenix. Only Charlotte did, as they didn't have a center. And yes, it comes to that with the Valley of the Sun. And as we see with this Suns team, things are frustrating as new and new reports been coming out with Kevin Durant. As, like I mentioned, the Suns ultimately almost did trade Kevin Durant for Jimmy Butler. They were trying to get rid of Bradley, but almost made the pivot because they wanted to still compete and give some sort of winning now culture. But ultimately, as Suns fans know, including myself, that trading Kevin Durant, your best player, for Jimmy Butler and locking him up long term is just going to give you two, and I state two, non-tradable contracts for the future, which is something the Suns fans desperately do not want. So I'm glad they didn't go with that direction. But with this being said, obviously the Suns throwing Durant's name in rumors, testing the waters after seeing what happened with Luka Doncic. Obviously, I expect them to test the waters, but they're almost getting a deal done. It's looking like the relationship between Phoenix and Durant could not be any worse. As we see, if the Suns are unable to find a significant package of draft picks and young players in a trade this offseason, Kevin Durant could very likely be on the move this offseason. And obviously, the Suns will look to move Bradley Beal in this offseason, but if that dream cannot be done, then I do see a Kevin Durant move on the horizon. But we did see multiple stuff coming about the Suns team as gearing up for the deadline. Brian Windhorst let us know that a lot of free GMs and owners around the league think the Phoenix Suns are very great at talent acquisition, as they say they're excellent, but they're terrible at team building. And I have to agree. If you look at this salary cap roster with this team, yes, you got off Yusuf Nurkic, but why didn't you trade Grayson Allen? He's making $12 million and plays the same, or $15 million and plays the same role as Bradley Beal coming off the bench. Why didn't we move Royce O'Neal? We didn't add another backup center. We still got Mason Plumlee. We got another guard in Micic. Cody Martin, I do like. Think it adds some nice upside value. Fills in that Okogie role as a little bit of a better fit at the 3 for the Suns here. But now you got 15 guys on the roster. We already saw Coach Budenholzer not really give much length or run to any of these guys. So what's only going to happen with more guys getting inserted? Will Martin, Micic even get any run within this team? Only time will tell. But the one thing they did not address was still that backup center hole. They still have Mason Plumlee. Did not address that. Traded Yusuf Nurkic. Running with Richards and Plumlee, I guess. Just doesn't make sense. We saw from Marona Shelburne the shoot around yesterday. She heard it was very awkward. Describes the current energy in the Suns locker room as toxic. And we all know why. That's the reason. Kevin Durant wants to sign an extension. He wants to remain in Phoenix. Booker wants to stay in Phoenix. The one person that they don't want is Bradley Beal. They want Bradley Beal gone. They know that Bradley Beal doesn't. Bradley Beal doesn't want to be gone. Bradley Beal wants to stay. He's happy in Phoenix. He doesn't want to go to another team, and that's totally fine. But that no-trade clause, trading for that no-trade clause, was the biggest mistake by the Suns front office because it possibly almost cost us Kevin Durant at this trade deadline. And it very well surely could cost us Kevin Durant in the offseason as well, just because the front office would rather take a $50 million player with a no trade clause rather than give themselves some cap and flexibility by bringing in the biggest name possible. I, 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 I genuinely do not know. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and James Harden didn't work in Brooklyn. I don't know what this front office thought with Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant it would work. It's just frustrating. It's just frustrating. No crap. No crap. It was very awkward yesterday at shoot around. No crap. They want Beal gone. They want Butler on the team. He's not going there. Beal's still playing. They know it's not getting done. And then Durant finds out he's almost getting traded because Beal doesn't want to leave. No crap. We also did find out last minute from Chris Haynes that two teams tried to engage with the Suns for Kevin Durant late, even to the last window, with the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Memphis Grizzlies being both of those teams. And like Evan Cedary said, after over 10 teams called on Kevin Durant in the last 48 hours, with the Warriors being desperate enough to just try to get something, opened those floodgates and topics of discussion, and with the Suns seeing the Lakers trading away Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic, evaluating if this is a smart move or not. Luckily, they didn't trade Kevin Durant for Jimmy Butler, but like I said, the last 48 hours before the trade deadline, the Suns obviously dealt with these rumors. Durant dealt with these rumors. And now it's just going to be something lingering for the offseason. As the situation gets crazier, Kevin Durant ultimately could be on the chopping block for this Suns team, depending on how they really seem to fix themselves. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section down below, but I want to get to the next plan because I think there's two directions here. And I've broken this down multiple times on the stream, on spaces, and stuff like that. So I'll give you guys the short version. I ultimately think that trading the Nurkic contract for whatever you could get back was necessary. I would have traded him for a burnt cookie. He was not playing, making $18 million, causing relationship issues with the team. He needed to go, right? Doesn't matter what you got back. But if you were going to trade Nurkic, you still needed to fill that hole at the backup center. And you are hoping to get some wings and stuff like that for Nurkic to then be able to flip Grayson or flip Beal or flip Tyus to get more draft capital to get that big. And you failed at that. So ultimately, you failed there. And that's where I think the big stain here is for Suns fans. But secondly, you put us in a situation where there's this side and this side. Side one, the more likely side. Kevin Durant is frustrated that you tried to trade him without him wanting to be traded and with him wanting to remain in Phoenix. Kevin Durant is also frustrated that you traded the 2031 first round pick, which had a lot of value, to get three lesser picks, and also is mad that you didn't get Jimmy Butler because that's the whole reason he wanted to sign the extension. Booker was also frustrated because of this, and Booker wanted to keep Kevin Durant, and the fact that you almost traded Kevin Durant under his nose is also messing with him. Therefore, I do believe that the Suns will eventually pursue with a Kevin Durant trade where they'll look in the offseason to get the best deal possible out there. He will go to the team that he desires, that he wants. The Suns will get whatever value they can get back. And that's when they have the question with Devin Booker. The season after he breaks their franchise all-time leading scorer in points, they're going to approach him with the question of, do you want to stay with this team or do you want to leave? And you know what Booker's going to say. He's not going to want to stay. He's eventually going to go, and you're going to be stuck with the Wizards of 2019 with Bradley Beal in this no trade clause that we recently saw just 5 years ago that the Suns ultimately traded for to take out of that space. But the thing is there's no other team that is going to fall for that trick twice, and the Suns are going to be stuck with that contract for 2 more seasons. The other alternative, the less likely, the dream scenario, perhaps, is that the Suns don't bring back Misic. They don't bring back Martin. They don't bring back Tyus. They don't bring back Bol. They don't bring back Mason Plumlee. They don't bring back Monte. They don't bring back Damian Lee. That is 7 guys that are on expiring contracts for this team. By doing that, you free up enough space to drop below the first apron and allow yourself to perform a Bradley Beal trade. Now, once again, you run into the issues of who's going to take Bradley Beal. Is Bradley Beal even tradable? Are anybody going to want Bradley Beal? Is Bradley Beal going to waive his no trade clause? But you have a whole offseason with even more draft capital on your roster because you didn't trade it this draft season to move off a Bradley Beal contract that has half of a season and not a team paying him $50 million. It makes it a little bit more attractable for a team taking it on. And for Bradley Beal and for this Phoenix Suns organization, it basically puts them in that direction to still build around Durant and stuff. Yes, you're not getting back Jimmy Butler, but you can figure out some sort of assets to get back to build around Durant and Beal or Booker, excuse me, and then you can use the remaining free agency money that you do have and/or draft picks or tradable assets and contracts to use to then fill out the roster to get the needs. Now, like I said, in the second scenario, it's a lot of ifs. It's a lot of possibilities. It's a lot of please let this be the best case scenario. Ultimately, I think there's still a possibility that that's what the Phoenix Suns organization can do, as Kevin Durant has already stated that he wants to stay in Phoenix, and I do believe Devin Booker would not want to leave either. And if they find out some way for Bradley Beal to waive his no trade clause to go to a team that he wants in the offseason with the Suns, regardless of getting whatever back in a contract for that deal, is at least expiring, is at least multiple deals, like 2 contracts, whatever the case may be. It makes it so much easier and gets rid of the headache of the no trade clause. Because if the no trade clause was not on Bradley Beal's contract, he would have been shipped to Utah, shipped to Washington, shipped to Brooklyn, and a 3-team deal for Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler would have been a Sun months ago. At this rate, the only person to blame is the front office, as the front office made these moves and put us in this decision and ultimately costed us Kevin Durant too early and may have costed the second half of Kevin Durant's tenure with this team to ultimately push him out. But I want to know your thoughts down below in the comments section. And let me know how you guys ultimately feel about this Suns team, because it's been a wild last couple month and a half gearing up to the trade deadline. And ultimately, as Suns fans, once again, we are left disappointed asking questions. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. Like I said, I really do appreciate all the love and support you guys have been giving on the channel. So it is very appreciative. Hope that with this Suns second half of the season, we can see a little turn upping. Maybe there'll be some rotational changes within the roster with Nurkic being moved. Maybe that will send up some new things for this Suns team. But if not, we may be in purgatory. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your night and go Phoenix Suns. Peace out, everyone.